Good morning, everyone. I hope you are ready to talk about insurance industry and loyalty and such. My name is Jörgen Gotthardsson, and I will be talking to you guys for a while now. And feel free, just as it says on the screen here, to write any questions in the Q&A. We'll try to answer them either live in the webinar or after. And we'll do the recording as well. So if you can't attend the entire webinar or if you want to review it later, you will get a recording as well. So thank you very much for joining. It's really nice to have a chance to meet up with you and talk to you guys. And today we are going to focus on what's the situation in insurance companies and in the insurance industry when it comes to loyalty. We're going to use that by looking into the research, basically the last 10 years when it comes to loyalty, both in the insurance industry, but also like other close industries as well. And then after that, my colleague Aleksandra, she will show some practical examples of, okay, but how can we achieve a situation where we increase our loyalty, and then especially when it comes to claims handling. And I'll get into why we want to focus a little bit more on claims handling, even though, of course, there are several different areas where you have a chance to influence your customer and create loyalty and create a relationship to them. But before we start, I just want to introduce myself a little bit better. So my name is Jörgen Gotthardsson. I'm living in Halmstad in Sweden, and right now I'm sitting in a grey Stockholm, and I've been working in the loyalty industry for the last 15 years, working with sales and marketing and customer service the last 20 years. And I've been focusing both on research and how to research loyalty and research customer satisfaction, but also how to design so we create more loyalty, and also how we redesign when things change along the way. So based on that, I will talk to you guys today about loyalty in the insurance companies, and I will do that together with my colleague Aleksandra. Good morning, Aleksandra. How are you feeling today?
Good morning, Jörgen. I'm feeling great. Also, I'm from the office, BE-terna's office in Ljubljana, Slovenia, from the CRM fintech sector that actually mostly works with clients from the banking and insurance industry. And yes, as you said, I'll try to present a practical example of how this can be, how the loyalty can be achieved with the support of a system like CRM.
Perfect. So we have a real insurance solution professional with us today to support. Thank you, Aleksandra. What's the weather like today?
Well, I think that today it's starting. The autumn is starting, so a little bit of rain and grayness as well.
Okay. So let's leave the gray weather and move into something more brighter. So what to expect today? Well, first of all, I want to introduce BE-terna as well. We're not that well-known brand in the Nordics, so I'm going to spend a minute or two just explaining who we are and yeah, basically what we do. Then we're going to jump over and answer the questions here, basically, where what's the current state of loyalty and customer experience in the insurance industry? How far have we come during the last 10 years? Is there a connection between loyalty and customer service? What drives loyalty, and what can you focus on in everyday work to increase loyalty? And how can you do that by adding and empowering your agents and your colleagues to achieve more in that context? And at the end, then we're going to look into these real examples where you actually can see in a system or in a setup based on real customers that we implemented solutions for, but in a demo environment. So let's get started. Who is BE-terna? Well, BE-terna is a company starting off in Austria, And we are definitely European-focused country, but with a real local connection. So in Sweden, we have offices in Stockholm, in Halmstad, in Helsingborg. We have offices in Oslo, in Aarhus, outside of Helsingør as well in Denmark, but then also all over Europe. And we still focus on being those local partners, but whenever we need, we can reach out and identify, okay, who in our company is the best person to help out in this situation, which basically gives us the advantage of being kind of a small local IT partner, but also with the potential of always having the most relevant specialists to the context. And just to give you a brief overview of where we are, not only in Sweden and the Nordics, as you can see, we are centralized in the center of Europe. And we focus on different technologies and put them into different industries to make sure that we support that industries and the people working in the industry in the best way. So we implement IT solutions. We use different building blocks to achieve that. And as you can see on the screen, it goes all the way from business solution close to the everyday work into data and AI to support those business processes, intelligent automation to free time for your agents, for instance, to make it possible for them to spend more time with the customer. We work with security. We work with infrastructure as well at the end and in the back to make it possible to use new tech as AI. We also work with really the systems close to the user, such as the Office package and Microsoft 365. And we implement solutions not only in Europe, but actually all over the world. And we do that in a brand called People. They help us to implement and we collaborate together in a international setup. So this is a brief overview of what we do and with what tools we do it. Now, I said we use technology to help industries to make use of digitalization better. And of course, today we're going to talk about this in the context of finance and insurance in particular. But looking at all the industries we are working in, there are several more initiatives. And we use simple building blocks from these different software tools. And we build them up together to support complex processes and to achieve more. Now we're part of the company Telefonica Tech that makes us a part of a biggest context as well. So whenever we need to implement more than we have in our own toolbox, we can reach out to Telefonica Tech and implement stuff as cybersecurity, IoT, AI, big data, and blockchain as well. So this is the setup. So we're going from really local up onto really international company level as well. Okay, that was BE-terna. Let's stop at that. And if you're interested in learning more about us, just visit our website or reach out to me on LinkedIn. Okay, so let's talk about the current state of customer experience and loyalty in the insurance business. When I started off working with the insurance business and fintech, I was, I think, 12 or 13 years ago. There were a lot of different initiatives. Klarna was really shaking up the market and had been for a little while, but they were shaking themselves as well with some news about how they offered the solutions and so on. So there were a lot of things happening, and we were in the beginning of really understanding that customer experience is a part of what we have to be good at, to be able to keep our customers basically, but also to grow our business. And having that in mind, we have had 10 years within the industry, more than 10 years, to develop this. So from there to now probably should be kind of a big step, I think. So I started to look into that, and here's based on one large research report from IBM. So during these 10 years, 85% of the insurance companies have customer experience projects, defined projects as addressing customer experience and evolving that. However, it's also still the situation, even though they started up a lot of projects in several companies, the overall customer experience strategy isn't really there yet. What does that mean? Well, basically it means that we have projects we are developing, but with the lack of strategy, it's not always aligned with the customers and what they expect. So even though these are better numbers than 10 years ago, customers still says that they want you in the insurance business to understand them better. And these expectations, the bar raises all the time. Now, as soon as one competitor implements a new technology or makes it easier to communicate or process a claim, it basically pushes the expectations higher and higher as well. So it's not fair to say that things hasn't happened, but there have been several projects, but the expectations has grown as well. So then we have to get back to, okay, where should we put our efforts and where have our efforts been put? Well, why we want to talk about claims today and customer service is because in the insurance industry, this is really a key process. And I think you already figured that out within the industry, since most of the customer experience projects are within claims and customer service. So what you see now on the screen is where do we have the most customer experience initiatives within the different parts of an insurance company. This is based on 3,000 companies. It's not only in the Nordics, but it gives kind of a good overview of, okay, where do you and your competitors or industry colleagues put your efforts when it comes to customer experience. Now, this should, of course, be able to identify in numbers, and it's a little bit tricky because, as I said, there loyalty can be measured in different ways, but also the expectations rises over time. So even though you create better customer experience, it's not always that you'll be able to see it in numbers. But what you see now on the screen is basically to the right. It's the large research report where you can identify how loyalty is evolving in one of the strongest markets for customer experience, the US market, and it's measured by Bain and Company. They have really good reports, and reach out to me on LinkedIn if you want to find some. I have a lot of them. And if we look into these numbers, we can see in the Swedish kvalitetsindex, you can see there's a trend that is slowly increasing the customer satisfaction. And this is something that's happening, but it takes a lot of time. And when you look into these different numbers, so Svensk Kvalitetsindex is based on a separate model, not the Net Promoter Score as they use in Bain. Svensk Kvalitetsindex have the Net Promoter Score as well, but it's not that well used throughout the years here. So it's harder to get a trend on it. To sum this up, I think that there's been a lot of initiatives, a lot of projects, but there's still a lot to do, and especially quickly adapting to the customer expectations is key to raise these numbers. Okay, so what do we need to focus on to create a better customer experience for your organization to see your key performance indexes. If you use Net Promoter Score, if you use CSAT or whatever, how can you see them evolve and really show that you perform well when it comes to customer experience? And here there are several sources to identify this. So I checked out different research and kind of summed it up all up together. What are the key aspects that you need to focus on based on these different reports? And it's some things are really new, some things is something that we have seen over and over again. And the increase of transparency, it's the same in several industries, but definitely for the insurance business as well. Make it easy to access the information, to get that transparency, but also transparency internally. So how do you create a situation for the agent where they quickly have the transparency of a customer and the customer history, the customer risks, the customer possibilities of adding new products and so on? This is really key to create a better customer experience. And it can be achieved in several different ways. And for sure, Aleksandra is going to show us. Now, one of the things that is new, semi-new, I'd say, but it's getting more and more expected by the customer. And it's clear in all these reports that one-on-one relationship, when you reach out to your insurance company, you expect the insurance company to know you. You expect the insurance company to know the basic details about you. You shouldn't be necessary to give away all of the details over and over again. This is mandatory, but it's also more and more expected that you can be an advisor as an insurance company, and you know the customer in a way where you can basically say, oh, I would recommend you to go in this direction, or you're overpaying on this part. I would that engagement to health insurance instead, because I think that will create more value for you. And being able to do so on a one-to-one level really impacts both the relationship with the customer, but also the value you offer, because you're not offering a mass product. You can basically adapt more and more to their needs. Something that's popping up more and more is being able to be empathetic in the relationship with the customer, especially in the insurance industry. To be able to achieve it, a combination of self-service in processes that are really not that complex, but also an efficient claims handling process that frees up time for the agent to be human in the process. That is something that we can see is a value driver when it comes to the customer experience and loyalty as well. This is definitely nothing new, but timely service, not getting stuck in queues and waiting to get a response, creating a omni-channel reality for the customer where they can reach out for basic information in a way they're used to when they quickly on the mobile phone, but also be directed to a individual, to a real agent as soon as they need to communicate and talk about more complex scenarios. And I think this is definitely something you're living with all the time, but being able to shorten the time for the first response for claim and also the entire claim cycle, I think that is still super relevant to create a good customer experience. Provide access and avoid hassle. It goes right hand in hand with the former points we discussed as well. So implementing digital flexibility, that is not new either. Every one of you have already heard that, okay, we need omnichannel, we need to add chatbots, we need to be able to offer both phone service and email. However, what's really changing is the expectation for you to evolve quickly when the customer does. This creates a situation for you where you have to have an IT partner that can quickly accelerate when the needs change. And also, you can't get stuck in a solution that isn't modular and you can't really build on it in different ways. So to be able to create that, I think here we're more back to the fundamentals. Do we have the data in the cloud so we can add more capabilities? Do we have a partner who have those capabilities when we need them? And I think here it's really a question both for IT and for you guys working in the business as well. Now this one is really cool, and this is something that pops up in all reports over and over again. So being able to reduce anxiety, but also at the same time doing that by developing new products and developing new values and adding that to the more classical insurance offer. And examples here would be, say, more individual offers, more based on your own reality. So instead of perhaps just offering a car insurance, you want to be able to ensure your mobility. You are transporting in several different ways. You have your car or you don't. In some cases, you're a part of a carpool. In some cases, you're using, you rent a scooter or something like that. And to be able to have an insurance solution that can adapt to your reality, that is something that pops up over and over again, both from the customer sides, but also from the industry itself. And it adds on a new layer of challenges, and that's basically be able to match the individual's needs with a more complex product. And we see this in several examples with the customers that when they add more and more value and more products, it also adds more complexity for the agent, and they quickly need to have help to not increase the time needed to talk to the customer in a claims handling process. Also, something really cool that pops up over and over again is the expectation of using AI, but with your own data. So being individual, being one-to-one, but then also having access to all the information about the customer, the policy, quickly being able to to ask a question to an AI about something that is related to your own policy or to that specific customer, and the AI can still process it. I think the expectations are kind of high here. The challenge in the insurance business and also in the finance industry for sure is that you have a strict regulatory situation where you need to basically ensure how you handle data. And I would really recommend you to check out SCB and Swedbank. They have some really cool initiatives in this together with Microsoft, where they actually have handled all of these challenges of working with really sensitive personal information, health data, and so on, banking data in their setup, and how to still make it available in the cloud and to add more and more features, actually such as ChatGPT, for instance. Reach out to me on LinkedIn if you want help finding it, because that's really cool cases to check out. Okay, so that was a summary of the situation when it comes to loyalty in the insurance industry. All of these reports can be sent to you as well. If you would like to dig in deeper into details, just reach out. And by that, I want to hand over to you, Aleksandra, to get a real live view on what this can look like and actually see machine learning and 360 view and a real smooth way of handling claims.
Yes, thank you, Jörgen. Well, if you go to the next slide, I can just start first with a little bit of theory behind it. So for the purpose of serving our existing clients from the insurance sector, we had an initiative to configure one application that would cover, of course, the main requirements from the companies from this industry. And we actually realized that combining the best practices, following the main trends, and of course with the experience with the customers, we came up with one idea that was our insurance accelerator. So this was the main goal. If we go to the next slide now, the main goal of this accelerator of this product was to tackle the biggest industry challenges, such as the dependency of the multiple applications, the lack of automation, the disconnected interactions across different channels, and of course the lack of flexibility whenever new regulations are introduced. And we came up actually with one solution that would react to these challenges. So if we go to the solution strategy, the response to all of these legacy system issues was, first of all, that the insurance CRM presents actually one centralized customer data system where all the information from different sources comes together and the data is fully optimized. The second feature is partially or fully automizing the business process in order to reach higher user efficiency and better focus, of course, of the users, of the agents, and optimizing also some other business operations. The third feature, of course, of great importance, especially here in the insurance sector, which is the omni-channel experience or the multi-channel experience, providing our customers, our clients, to get in contact with the insurance companies in such a different ways through different communication channels. And the last one, of course, is the GDPR management, focusing which can be custom adjusted, of course, on the specific client, on the specific country, depending all on the national laws. So after I mentioned these key features, maybe just to get a clearer picture of this for this insurance CRM product, I can go quickly to through how they are actually applied in the solution. So the first module that we use, that is the yeah, we can just skip to the next one. This is just the brief summary. Thank you. So the first part is the be customer centric. This actually means that the CRM solution is representing one centralized data system where the data is gathered from different sources and different processes, different stages. And here in this 360, we actually have enabled some real-time alerts, some notification that will help me as an agent to have a more prompt response to the customer, better customer engagement, and also there's some insights into the key customer figures. And we consider this as a one step towards that loyalty and customer satisfaction, because I mean, in order to show that empathy that Jörgen mentioned and to have more personalized communication with the customer, to show them that you know them, you need to know, you basically need to know them. And this is what is better than just seeing all the data from the internal communication, maybe with the colleagues, also some external systems like some portals or questions that on blogs that the customer asked in only one place. The second module is the Be Compliant module. That is on the next slide, please. So this basically refers to the GDPR consent management, as well as the right to be informed and the right to be forgotten. And mainly it's handling through CRM that actually adds on to the transparency that users have, that agents have with their customers. Because as me as an agent, if I can see some of the consents, for example, that the customer gave, also the customer will be able to see this information and to and for example, if a portal is enabled and added to our solution, they can also give or give their consent or withdraw their consent through the portal. So the next part is
So
the
cool.
B.
So cool, Aleksandra. So you actually create that transparency even with GDPR, what kind of data you're handling for the customer as well. That's really a neat feature.
I mean, I can just add up here that we went a little bit towards the automation as well in the GDPR process. So whenever a customer starts, for example, one process of wanting them to be forgotten or anonymized in the system, they will always be able to track how the process is going, and they will get personalized emails regarding the status of their request.
Cool.
So
So you continue the customer journey even with handling the GDPR and the personal data and even removing it. So you really thought of the customer experience there as well.
correct. I mean, we didn't want to be limited only to get in touch with them for specific promotions or just to let them know how the claim handling process is going, but on every single point of communication and of contact that we would have with the customer in the system.
That's super.
Yes, and also it is connected with the Be Proactive module. This is actually referring to the sales and the customer service operations. And here, of course, in this industry, the main focus is the claims and the complaints management, and to have that seamless handling process, which actually was one of the main criteria for preventing churn. So actually, this optimized process, which is fully or partially automated, is preventing, for me as an agent, to need to make repeated data entry and to ask the customer repeatedly for one and same information. And of course, from the other side, it gives me the free time to reach out to them, maybe faster, and give them the reassurance that somebody is working on their case, is working on their complaint, etc. And the last module is the Be Engaged part. So this actually presents the communication with the customers. It's either through directly through various channels with the help of the omni-channel. So it can be some social media, it can be an SMS, it can be WeChat, or and so on. It can be actually integrated within any different communication channel. Or also we here can use custom improved add-ons, such as, for example, the call center automation, or offering the customer with some self-service portals and virtual agents. And of course, in every case, that's showing the reliability and the being here for the customer,
I think this
depending
is
on.
a really cool example there, Aleksandra, where we can see how the capabilities that Microsoft add to the platform can be adopted as from our side as a partner and put into the industry, where we can offer all of these different channels, but also, of course, a chatbot right now, but the involvement of the chatbot during the last year only with ChatGDPR. It's really cool how quickly things can happen in the solution when we have access to the tools from Microsoft and the knowledge from the industry. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, correct. I mean, the Power Virtual Agent is really, I mean, offering something that was very hard to be offered with live agents. So that customer support 24/7, the automated case creation. Also, there is automated or requested, depending on how the chat is going, to transfer to live agent for further assistance and so on. But not to forget, I mean, we are now in a generation where actually people want to Google stuff. And people want to maybe, if they do have a question, instead of calling their insurer or talking to a chatbot, they just want to find their own answers. And also, this is one part, one add-on that is also available on the insurance CRM, that is the self-service portal that actually empowers the customers to maybe check and solve their issues on their own based on some comprehensive knowledge bases that we have set up on the portal, and maybe encourage them to discuss some products, share some tips, share some recommendations as well on the blog parts, and so on. So it depends on the customer, of course, but that is also one availability, one option here.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it really well there when it comes to be able to add information. Both the customer adds information, but you as a company over time as well. Well, right now we're talking about Google, but not in a far future where ChatGPT has more updated data than just up to 2021. Being able to provide information like that in an open context, where when we evolve from Googling to chatting with ChatGPT to get our answers, that is basically the foundation for it. If you don't have the information there out and updated and easy accessible, it will be you will be not in the same advantage as your competitors who has it. So it's really a multi-layer, both right now to be able to give 24/7 support and access to information, but also preparing for the future. It's really cool.
So I mean, let's quickly, because I think we're short on time, we can just quickly jump to our solution in practice to just see some of the things that I mentioned earlier. I hope you can see the screen.
I can for sure.
Okay, great. So this is actually the let's say the interface, the homepage of the CRM. Don't get confused. This is just one claim handler dashboard with all their activities and cases. But what we first see here is, of course, the bell, the notification sign. So I can just go here and check what is going on. And we immediately see there is one notification saying that one policy is approaching its expiration date. And I can easily navigate here by clicking on the link. So just to say one disclaimer first, so we know that showing that personalized relationship with the customer is very important, and the best way to reach it is showing them that we know and understand that customer. And through the link that I clicked, that contract is coming close to an end. You see that I didn't open, it didn't lead me to the contract itself, but it led me to the account for which, for this customer actually that has a policy approaching its expiration. Because the first thing that you want to do when you want to reach out to the customer is actually check all the information and get to know the customer. So on this customer 360 view, the first thing that we can see is, of course, the different, let's say, alerts and the different signs, green and red, that immediately associates us to positive and negative features. So, and that is why they were configured like that. So the green alerts, for example, here are positive. We can see that this customer is ready to buy and this customer is profitable. But the negative, the red one, is that it maybe was neglected. That is one of the parts that we mentioned earlier. So if when you visually see this, immediately you already have a one picture in your head. about this customer. So you don't have to go through and read through communication and numbers, etc., to get the first glimpse for them. The second part, if you want to get into it, you have a special tab for it, and it is the activities tab, because the data, the historic data, the communication data is still important in this case. And I think we all agree that all this information deserve one separate tab, completely dedicated to this communication that we can see here, which actually combines all the emails, all the tasks, activities, maybe some communication through the portal, and so on. So we have it here gathered for informative purposes. But it's not only that. If we have the historic data, there is one thing that actually in which it can be used. I can quickly show you this next best offer feature that we have implemented in our insurance CRM. It can be, of course, configured in 3 ways. So it can present next best offers based on BE-terna's let's say calculations, or maybe there's some criteria that the customer will want to implement. But what is actually here the most interesting, or the most the most interesting part is using machine learning. So basically here, by let's say by gathering this historic data that we have on all of our customers, we can teach a model to actually recognize some different patterns in the purchasing behavior, in the buying behavior, based on what they purchased, based on their personal information, such as age maybe, or I don't know how old is their car, even if it's regarding casco insurance, and so on, and actually provide us with a prediction what would be the best proposition for the next product that they would be interested in buying. But not only we can actually imagine that not to be limited only by the products that we can offer to the customer. Maybe we can just give them a call and advise them what would be more or less suitable for them, and with that actually emphasize that we have the customer on the top priority in the sales process, and not maybe the sales itself. So I don't
It's really
think that
cool as well, Aleksandra, where you show that machine learning can actually become more or less an aid for the agent to help the customer better. And this is where we're closing in on AI, which of course will come later on as well. But having that support, and especially when the offer becomes more and more complex, as you said, being able to advise the customer, not only by your experience as an agent working for several years, but also a new agent having the experience from the machine learning model to help out. I think that's really cool, especially if you have a high turnover of employees or agents. You can ensure that the agents have the same capability to be advisors for the customers. It's really cool how machine learning and tech comes together with the individual that's speaking with your end customers.
Thank you. Yes, that was what we were trying to achieve here, and I think that it gives the both the let's say the trust from the customer, and also the support that the agents need in these situations. So I'm not sure how we are on time, if I should continue quickly, or we should stop here and maybe cover some of the rest through another session. What?
Yeah, I think we have 2 minutes left, so let's stop here, and also just mention that if you want to see more, or if you have questions, or even want to see more examples of this, we both have the possibility to do of course, this together with you guys. You can just reach out and we set up a meeting. But there's also on the BE-terna site, there's a blog post regarding this loyalty. There's also a demo of the system, so you can check it out more on your own. So no worries if you feel that you want more details or want to know more, just let us know and we'll help out for sure. And both Aleksandra and myself, we're a little bit of nerds in this context. We really like the insurance industry and I really like loyalty and how to create it. So feel free to reach out and talk to us. To sum this up then, Aleksandra, would it be fair to say that we talked about loyalty and the values that we need to create, but one really key component to achieve that is to have a supporting system in the background, not only what we see now, but also the fundamental pieces behind this, which means basically something like Azure from Microsoft, where you have a database, but also capabilities connected to the database where you can achieve machine learning, you can achieve AI, like Microsoft's open AI services that they released. Having those pieces of puzzles in the background is really key. And taking a step back to talk to your IT department and challenge them a little bit on that, I think that's super important on a strategic level. Like we want to achieve loyalty over time, then it's not only a task for you in claims handling, it's not only a task in sales, but it's a collaboration with your IT department to make sure that you have the right pieces in the puzzle to be able to achieve this, because it's happening kind of quick. Yes, during this summer, as I mentioned before, Swedbank, they started off by implementing ChatGPT for their employees, and they did it in a couple of months instead of years of projects. So this is really something that's happening right now, and it's evolving quickly. And with that said, thank you so much, guys, for listening in. Do we have any questions? So feel free to just let us know here. Okay, so if it pops up any questions later on, just reach out. Otherwise, have a really nice day and hope to see and talk to you guys again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.